almost did that thing that this is so funny. Obviously, I'm back in my office and I love to do this thing where I like do this. Hello. Don't do your YouTube videos in a swiveling chair. Okay. Hello, my people. This is Becca De Moulin from GetLifeEnergy.com. And I am back in San Diego. I am back in my office. And after being gone for about 11 days, doing a solo road trip. And I just had a phenomenal massage from one of the therapists. The only other massage. Is there anybody else who works there who does massage? I think she's the only other massage therapist who works in this suite. Her and her business partner are actually sublessors of mine. But anyhow, I got back from my road trip, as those of you know who have been following along with my road trip journals. This is actually a road trip recap and lessons learned video, because I did make a road trip journal I'm a little buzzed still, from massage stoned, if you will. I'm a little like, ugh. So I just was like, road trip journal. I did make a final day road trip journal. However, I felt like I was just rambling about things that I fucked up on early in the morning when I was super tired and trying to make some tea. So I just didn't think it was a very good video. I felt like I was just kind of rambling on about stuff that I didn't do very well, and I didn't really feel like sharing it. Not my best video, you know what I mean? And I mean, it's a thing when you're just winging a video and you're just like, all right, I'm making a video right now. It's like, someday I'll learn how to video edit. And then someday I can just ramble into my phone as much as I want and edit it all together into something that is meaningful, makes sense, and is entertaining. But right now I'm just shooting from the hip and doing unedited videos. So I kind of watched it for the first minute or two and I was like, I don't really know if I want to share this. I just don't feel like there's you know what it was? I didn't feel like there was anything of value in that video that would provide any value for anybody. So, you know, if you're going to produce a video and go to the trouble of uploading it on YouTube and explaining all the things in the caption below and doing all the things, you might as well make sure it's something that people actually want to watch, right? So now that I'm back in the office and I just had an amazing massage and I blocked off the rest of my day so I could relax and recover from this pinched freaking nerve situation that I've been dealing with, I decided I'll make a video now. And my hair was a mess, so I just, you know, tamed my hair a little bit, feeling like I look all right and can, you know, look at this, like, it's pretty nice, right? So a little better quality video for you. Oh, check this out. I just did my eyeliner at the office, and I did this intuitively, like, it's kind of like an eagle eye on the corner and then a dot, dot, dot in between. Do you like it? So I was like, I don't know, it looks kind of cool to like, so I've been seeing some like sexy goth boys with some fun eyeliner on Instagram recently, and it inspired me, I guess. Okay, so since I'm not posting that other video that I made at the end of the road trip, I'm going to give you guys a road trip recap now. It's only Wednesday. Is it? I've been back for a week tomorrow. So I've been back for 7 full days, and I finally feel well enough to do something like this. So yeah. Okay, lesson number 1 from this solo van life road trip that I took was give yourself more time. This is kind of the lesson I learn over and over every single day for my entire life. Ever since I've ever needed to be anywhere at a specific time or do something by a specific date, I've been learning this lesson over and over and over to give myself more time. But specifically with this road trip, it was, I just thought this was funny because when I found out about my grandfather's passing, don't feel bad, he was 96, he had an amazing life. It was his time. But death is still no fun, and it's a super challenge. And obviously for my mom and her sisters, that was their dad. So myself included and all of the cousins, we all really wanted to be there for our moms because they were the ones going through losing their dad after a long and drawn out slow decline, with a whole lot of intensity, and stress. what's interesting, I was reflecting on, what, what I was reflecting on that I thought was interesting is that I find out that he passes on a Sunday morning. So I'm like, cool. I'm like communicating about plans and like when the funeral will be. So like how much time I have to get up there. And then I'm thinking, rather than buy a plane ticket at the last minute, which is going to cost $700 or $800, I could probably drive there in my van. I haven't started renting it out yet, so I have it available to me. I could go through the redwoods. I could do a bunch of, I actually was thinking that I would do photo ops with my van, and that I would be like, here's my van in the redwood forest. Here's my van, blah, blah. I thought I was gonna like do this thing with a super hard timeline deadline. Yeah, I should have given more time. Well, anyway, once I find out about Grandpa, I immediately started getting my affairs in order. Blocking off my work schedule, making sure any clients that were booked got rescheduled. Kind of failed on one of those until the last minute, but that's my MO. Sorry, Liz. And then I, get groceries for my trip, get clothes packed for the trip. I had to go to my storage unit and get dress shoes because I didn't have anything like that available for me to wear to the funeral, even though I forgot to wear the fucking high heels that I got out of storage. Goodness. Just everything that I needed to get done in order to be ready to leave for this road trip. It took me 2 days, and I gave myself those 2 entire days to get completely ready and pack up the van and and handle any business that needs to get handled and sort out any like really important tasks that need to get done before I leave, so that there isn't any compounding interest in the sense of like future problems from, say, like launching your ClassPass account when you're not going to be in town, that kind of thing. So it took me 2 days to get ready to leave. And yet when I got back, I thought that I could just immediately go back to work the very next day and just start full-time doing shit, and I wouldn't need any time to integrate into being back. And I remember thinking, like, if it took me 2 days to get ready to leave, what the hell makes me think I can just get back and just immediately jump back to going to work and not have time to integrate, unpack, clean out the van, hang out with my cat who's been missing me, check in with my housemates and my situation that I'm living in, feed myself, get groceries, whatever I might, like, oh my God, what the F was I thinking? So I immediately get home. I get home on a Thursday evening around 6 p.m. I was proud of that I was home so early and that it wasn't like 11 o'clock at night. But, so I get home at 6 p.m. and I mostly unpack, and I got all the food out of the van, and I got the, like, my pee jug, got that sorted out, some of those time sensitive things, dealt with all that. But I was exhausted, and I've been having a pinched nerve for about Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's when I was still there in the Pacific Northwest. Then Monday driving, Tuesday driving, Wednesday driving. Did I get back on Wednesday? Did I get back on Thursday? Okay, I gave myself an extra day of driving to get back, which was awesome. So at least I learned my lesson at least somewhat, and I gave myself more time on the way back. Well, having that extra time was really important because I was suffering with a lot of physical pain and discomfort that came and went. It wasn't chronic and spasming the entire fucking time, because then I would have not really been able to drive, to be honest. But it was bothersome and annoying. And when you're driving 7-8 hours a day, you don't get to escape that, because you have to stay sober, mostly, and you have to drive. So you can't just like be in some weird stretch laying on the floor on top of a tennis ball or laying up against the thing with an ice pack. Luckily, my mom did hook me up with some pain relieving patches, single-use ice pack, some one of those heating ones. I still haven't, I'm saving it, but I probably should have been using that the entire time. Thank you, Mom. But anyway, the pain made it harder to drive back. So I'm glad I gave myself that extra day. And by giving myself that extra day, I had enough time to go to El Dorado Hills and visit my aunt and uncle Larry, where you guys saw the video that I made, by the pool where I was doing my yoga, and I was coming to terms with the fact that self-care is always the number one fucking priority, because if you ain't got your health, you ain't got anything. Imagine if I would have got like COVID or something, and I'm sick with COVID and like having body aches and fever. Would I be driving down the fucking, no. I'd be parked on the side of the road under a tree, taking a nap, sleeping in the van until I felt well enough to drive back. I would certainly not be powering through. So self-care is always the most important thing. You know what I mean? If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So that was made known to me, even though I thought I'm super healthy and phenomenal, and I am, but at the same time, I injured myself. So we'll get into that in a moment. Here's my road trip recap and lessons I learned from this solo female van life road trip. I mean, I took the van out for a weekend to a festival, and it was fantastic. No problems. But that was only a few days, right? This was an 11-day journey, including camping in the van and boondock camping in the van. I made no plans to have any campsites. I also didn't have enough time to reach out to my San Francisco Bay Area friends and find out if I could like stop and see them or crash at their place. So I didn't even bother, and I didn't get far enough north anyway. So I had to pass Sacramento, pass the Bay Area, and just get as far north as possible on my second day of driving. And therefore, I couldn't have stopped to see my friends if I wanted to. But had I had a lot more time, had I given myself a full 14 days to do this road trip, which now I think if I was going to go to Oregon and back, or go to the Pacific Northwest and back, my family lives some in Portland and some on the Washington side of the river. If I was going to drive the van all the way up there and all the way back down, again, by myself, I would give myself 14 entire fucking days. Just because then you can go up the 1 and the 101, and you can enjoy the view and be by the ocean and stop more often and go on more hikes and chill the fuck out and enjoy the journey and, cruise rather than like must get there. So that was negative number one lesson. It was way too many hours to do this by myself, completely, without anyone else to drive and share with the driving. That meant I couldn't do any texting. I couldn't do social media stuff. I made videos while I was driving because I was so fucking bored, and it was so boring that I could do videos while driving, but I'm not going to look down. Like, you got to keep your fucking eyes on the road. Obviously, right? That's the legal thing to do. But if somebody else was helping drive, you can actually like go pee in a moving vehicle if you're on a nice smooth road. So you can take turns and literally urinate and not have to stop, which is fantastic. Saves a lot of time to not have to actually go use a real bathroom. That would have saved time. I still just pulled over on the side of the road and did my pee jug situation on the side of the road many times. I'm sitting in traffic and I'm like, the next exit is like 7 minutes away and I gotta pee now. I just pull over and pee right now, which is great. Super great. That's amazing. So that saves a lot of time, but I'm still only one person. So that means I can still only drive for say 2, 3, 4 hours tops before I need to get up and get out of the car and just move my body and stretch my legs and stretch my arms and not have to be looking at the road for a moment, not have to be paying attention for a moment. So I added it all up because on the first night I did like 4 hours, and then on the second day I did like 11 hours, 10 of which were full-time driving. The third day I did another 4 hours or whatever. So, there might be some traffic, there might be some delay for whatever reason. There might be, you might need to stop to pee, or you need to grab something at the store, or like, whatever reason you have to stop. You have to get gas. Every single time I got gas, I'm filling the entire tank. So it takes like 10 whole minutes. Plus I'm washing the entire windshield to get all the dead bugs off the windshield. So every single time I stopped for gas, that was like a 20-minute stop, because I would go pee, I would wash the windshield, I would even get my shawl wet again to wrap around my head, so like, and I was stretching a little bit. So every time I had to stop for gas, it was it was like, it wasn't just some quick little 5-minute stop. It was like a 15 to 20-minute stop. Plus I would check my phone and respond to messages if needed or whatever. Okay, so let me tell you some positive lessons learned. Having my own refrigerator was a game changer. Absolutely. 100% amazing thing to do is to have your own fridge with you when you're visiting your family, especially if you have food allergies. I had vegan cheese. I had extra protein like tuna fish and rice crackers. I had gluten-free stuff. I had healthy snacks. I had fresh fruit. I had coconut water, coffee cream, everything I needed to make my morning collagen bulletproof latte. And I love my shit. And when I'm with my family, they have milk, or they don't have the type of sweetener that I want because it's, know what I'm saying? I want specific stuff. And unless I'm going to go buy all that stuff every time I visit my family and have them hang on to it for a year until I'm back the next time, having a fridge was a game changer. It was amazing to have my own food with me. And also then if I went out to eat, I had a place to put the leftovers to keep them cold. And I had a way to heat up food, and that was awesome. I also, by bringing the van, I had a spare bedroom with me. And that meant that I could sleep anywhere I wanted. If I was the kind of sleeper that could just sleep with like noises of trucks driving by, I could just sleep on the side of the highway. But I think the noise of the trucks would bother me. So I would go into quiet areas and find places to boondock camp, which was still a little weird being my first timer of doing this. I'm sure it can take some getting used to. But when I was camping at a festival, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that there's a motorhome parked next to me who's a friend of mine. I know that there's some random dude over here in a tent. But I know that we're all cool, we're all burners. Nobody's some sketchy tweaker trying to break into a van. Nobody is some neighbor that's like, who the hell's parked in front of my house? That kind of thing. So it was a little bit hard for me to relax when I'm boondock camping in some random neighborhood, because every little noise I'd hear outside I'm like, is someone gonna mess with me? Am I pissing someone off? Like, I wasn't like afraid of like someone trying to kill me or something, because I wasn't in a sketchy area. But you never know, right? And it's like, if you hear somebody walking like, hey, blah, 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 and you hear them walking past your van and you're laying in there sleeping, you're like, this looks like a work truck. It looks like a work truck. It looks like a work truck. No one knows I'm in here. But it's a little bit weird. And when I used my phone and I played my white noise app, that helped me sleep, because just the fan was not loud enough. I'm a fan sleeper and I need white noise. So I have multiple phone chargers in the van, so I could just plug my phone in, run the white noise, and listen to raindrops and thunder all night, which was awesome. Sleep considerations. Okay, this is another one of the negs. This is from the positive list. Another positive. Is that on the wrong side of this list? Okay, so these were my road trip lessons. I learned that I needed to consider, I guess I was already on this topic, sleeping situation. I did not consider enough or spend enough time thinking about where am I going to be sleeping. I just thought, I'm going to sleep in the van, duh. I've got a bed. But I wasn't thinking about like, what's the ideal place to park it in at night, next to a tree, next to a building, in an industrial area, in a neighborhood. Like, I wasn't thinking that in advance. And I did not consider the fact that in Bakersfield in late July, it's going to be 90 effing degrees at nighttime. So it was hot. It was so hot. I did not even need the bedding. I just literally put the sheet over me just because I liked the feeling of having something against my body. But I had like a fleece blanket in there. Yeah, no. I have a down comforter in there. Definitely not. So I had way too hot of bedding to sleep in a warm situation. So had I thought about that with more time in advance, I would have probably found some, like, I don't know, super secluded camping site on one of those websites for van lifers where they tell you where you can park that's super secluded. And I would have had my door wide open with the breeze coming through. Or I would have maybe even rented a campsite for the night so that I was in a safe place that's super private. And even if there's other campers there, you're hearing birds and shit rather than random dudes walking by at midnight. I could have brought lightweight bedding, and I plan now to buy actually a cooling blanket I was realizing, I'm like, wait, I'm like, I could have made myself cooler. There's ways I could have cooled myself down. I could have wrapped that damp shawl around on my body to sleep. That might have helped me sleep. It works at Burning Man. So I could have considered my sleep stuff better. But by the second night, I drove west and I was like, I'm sick of being on the 5. F this, it's too boring. So I'm like, and I cut across Sacramento, San Francisco, get onto the 101. And I'm like, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's like clouds. It's 65 degrees. You know, it's like this cool breeze. It's windy. There's mountains. I'm like, yeah, this is better. Now it doesn't go as fast, but it's like so much more pleasant to see that it was more enjoyable for me. But it did add a couple hours onto my journey. But that night I got into Eureka, California, right next to the ocean. It was like 56 degrees at night. I slept really good. I slept awesome. All warm and cozy under those freaking down comforters. And I had the windows cracked like this far and the fan. So it got real nice and cold in there and I slept great. But now I know I need different bedding for when it's hot. And if I know it's going to be cold, the bedding I have is fantastic. But it was overkill for the hot areas. Okay, let's just do all the positives and then we'll do all the negatives. I did get out and hike. I did do some workouts. I did go walk around the block right after waking up and having my tea and doing my video journal. I did do some prioritizing of my self-care on the way up, which was awesome to just be autonomous and not have to check in with anybody else and be like, I'm getting on the road at 11 a.m. today because it's 9 a.m. I need an hour to get dressed, make the bed, make my tea, do the video, whatever else I did in the morning, write in my journal, go pee, whatever the fuck people do in the mornings. And then, you know, just figure out where I'm going to go do a number 2 at some point, whatever. And then go for a walk around the block for 20 minutes or do some yoga on my yoga mat or foam roller. So that morning routine has to happen and you have to allot time for that. And I had a hard time getting to bed. So I didn't go to bed till 3, 4 in the morning on the first night. Next night, I fell asleep by 2 a.m. But still, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't getting enough sleep. So I was sleeping into a later time than I would have liked. And therefore, I didn't have as much time to get that morning routine done. Or, well, I did spend some time doing those things that I wanted to do for myself, but I was a little bit behind schedule because of it. So again, had I given myself more time, I could have had more nature time. But I did get out and do a dope ass hike near some redwood trees. I did, you know, like enjoy the scenic route. I did stop and stretch when I needed to stretch. And I did, you know, eat healthy food and take care of myself along the way. And I even did a couple of physical therapy workouts. I brought a kettlebell with me and my 3-pound weights. But get this, I pinched a nerve in my shoulder within 3 days of doing a rotator cuff exercises where I was leaning back. Okay, this is the thing. The thing is, I'm proud of myself that I actually did the workout and that I actually did some rotator cuff exercises while on this road trip, because I've been working on that and I don't want to let my self-care or my physical therapy stuff just fall to the wayside just because I'm on a road trip. It's like when I'm on a road trip driving every day all day long, that's probably when I need to do this more than ever, right? But here's where I screwed up. I'm in the van. I think this was on my first day. So I had slept in the van that night in Bakersfield. It was hot as fuck. I got a few hours of sleep. It's time to get up. I make myself tea. I do a video journal and I'm getting ready to go and getting ready to start driving for the day. And I was like, let's just do a little bit of physical therapy. But instead of doing it properly and using my foam roller as if it's like a bench and laying down flat on the ground and doing the like movements like this, you know what I did? I just leaned back like this and perched my lower back up against the corner of my countertop, which is wooden. And I just leaned back at like a weird 45-degree angle and just did a bunch of like weird shit with my shoulders and my 3-pound weights. And I think I yanked some wonky muscle in my subscapularis. And 2 nights later, spasm. That sucks. So, had I done it right, had I done it with better form, had I done it with more patience, had I been like, you know what, I don't care how long it takes, I don't care what time I get there today, because I need to do this thing properly, that would have been the way to do it. All right, some other good stuff is that it was fantastic seeing my family, and I was really excited about seeing my cousins, my sister and brother. What a treat to see them twice in such a short amount of time. We actually visited our dad for his 66th birthday back in March. April, May, June, July. That was only 4 months ago. So I just got to see my brother and sister 4 months ago, and I just got to see them again. So that was awesome because it's like we hardly ever see each other, and it's just really nice to see each other in person. And then my mom's entire side of the family, her 2 sisters and all of their wonderful kids, there's like 10 of us grandkids, or maybe 9. There's like 9 grandkids total, including me. There's a few great grandkids as well. And 3 daughters have survived Grandpa Fred. And they are the fun side of the family. They like to drink. They like to party. They like to have a good time. They don't take shit too seriously. They're fucking cool. They are cool ass people. They are down to earth. And they have a bunch of fucked up family members who have made their lives a living hell. So they've been through some shit and they get it. And they, are, I guess, open and accepting and honest and real, which I find very refreshing. And it's just like, we all start hanging out again, and it's like peas and carrots, and it's like, it's like we fall right back into the last time we hung out, which might have been several years ago. Anyway, it was lovely. Aaron, Johnny, Danielle, Bethany and I really got to vibe it out, and Jill and I only got to talk for a few minutes, but she wasn't in town as long. However, all of these cousins of mine, my half-brother Jeff and his wife, these are all people that I was hoping I would get to connect with, at least for a little bit, and have a conversation with them and like catch up with them each. And I got to do that. That is exactly what I had hoped to do, and that's what I did. So again, having the van was absolutely fantastic and a game changer because I had my own guest room with me. I didn't need to sleep in a room where I wouldn't be comfortable, or share a bed with someone, or a bed that I didn't find comfortable, or, I didn't have to drive all the way back 45 minutes to my mom's or drive an hour to my dad's to go sleep. I could just park the van in the driveway of my aunt's house and just sleep in the van. The funeral was all in this part of town, the after funeral celebration of life, and then the after party, basically hanging out, was all at this location. So why drive all the way over there? Why don't I just leave the van right here, right? Got my own food, got my own place to sleep, got my closet, got everything I need. It was awesome. So I just got into town, parked right there. I mean, had I gotten into town earlier, I would have gone straight to my mom's because I wanted to be there for her because she's upset because of what she just went through, understandably. So I wanted to be there for my mama, to give her lots of hugs and be emotionally there for her. But because I didn't get into town till fucking like 12:30 at night and the funeral was the next day, I was like, I'm going to stay right here at Grandpa's old house and be 20 minutes away from where I need to be tomorrow morning. Because I have a problem with time, and I know this about myself. And then that night, I was like, why drive all the way back when I'm going to be here again tomorrow? So I just stayed there for like 3 days. So I did get to see my mom each day, but not for as long as I would have liked. However, it was the right move, you know what I mean? To stay with the van and just hang out at my aunt's place, because I got the most amount of time to hang out with my cousins, the most amount of time to hang out with my aunts, who I very rarely see. And that was my goal, and then we had a whole mom day on Sunday. So we made it work. All right. So that's very satisfying to reflect on the things that I did nail, on the boxes that I did check, and on the fucking things that I did accomplish that I set out to do. Now, another thing I set out to do was learn about my van by using it. The best way to learn how something works is to use it. You know what I mean? Like you want to learn how to color in a coloring book, just whip it out. Start coloring. Figure out if those markers soak through the other side, or figure out if those pencils are crap. Anyway, tools, you know what I mean? Start using it. The sooner you use something, the faster you learn how it works. Okay, so here's where I fucked up. I didn't plan self-care in advance enough. Like, I didn't think about the fact that it's still going to take me 2 hours every morning to do my morning routine, because I'm going to want to make the bed. I'm going to want to get dressed. I'm going to want to do some stretching, some meditation, some journaling, some tea time. I'm going to have to get everything down to make the tea and then put everything back. Every time I'm going to drive the van, I have to stow all of the stuff back inside of its cubbies so it doesn't fly out when I hit the brakes. I didn't think about that. And had I planned to give myself 2 hours every morning, then I would have been able to go walking every single day. And by planning out self-care, this is what I mean. I could have looked up chiropractic offices that were along my route in advance. I knew there was one up in Vancouver, and I did end up going there, but I didn't like plan for it in advance necessarily, which I could have done. And here's the big kicker I'm thinking about. I know that being around family is stressful. I certainly know that dealing with grief and loss is super stressful. And I also know that I'm the kind of person who is energetically sensitive, but I did not even think about the fact that I could absorb negative energy from other people, or, you know, get triggered and get manifest, you know, muscle spasms in my fucking body. Therefore, it's like I could have booked a massage, ding, 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 an actual massage. I could have looked up a therapist in the area, found somebody who was available. I could have written a list of 4 different places to call in case they were booked, and make these phone calls with my earbuds while I was driving. I could have done all of that while I was driving. And I could have booked a massage for myself the day after the funeral, or the next day. You know what I'm saying? Because then on Friday night, when my neck goes, and I'm like, oh God, this sucks. And I'm spent the whole rest of the night on a foam roller and tennis balls, and I couldn't fucking sleep at all, and it was horrible. I could have been like, it's all good, I have a massage on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, I could have planned for that. So I could have planned for self-care a lot better, because a massage would have fucking helped me a lot. I've been back for 6 days. It's been 11 or 12 days that I've been dealing with numbness in my finger as a result of this pinched nerve. And in the course of that 12 days, almost 2 weeks that I've been feeling pain on a daily, I've gotten 3 chiropractic adjustments and 2 massages. Because I ain't trying to fuck around with this pain no more. So, just saying, I'm feeling a hell of a lot better, but it's taken a bunch of support and help from health professionals, and self-care, and rest, and self-massage, and heat, and ice, and anti-inflammatories, and stretching, and salt baths, and everything else I've been doing to try to help myself. So had I booked a massage for right after the funeral and whatever, maybe I would be a few steps ahead of myself right now. All right. The other big lesson learned that was on the side was I totally ran out of power. There's an adapter that, okay, so when you have solar, some people build their solar panels to where the solar panels are connected to a battery. It charges off of the solar, but when you're not, but when the engine is running and you're driving the vehicle, there's a little cord that attaches it to the engine's battery and whatnot. So the generator charges the battery, and the battery charges the other battery, so it keeps your battery full. That's how motorhomes are designed, I think. Or maybe they just have their own like gigantic batteries, and like they have like 6 of them. But anyway, my van has like a very energy efficient, very badass, high tech battery that's called the Goal Zero. Apparently it's like dope as fuck. But I only have 2 solar panels up there, and they are like taped on with white electrical tape. Or, I'm sorry, they're taped on with white duct tape. And I'm like, yeah, super pro install on the duct tape. So I know that there's probably heavier dutier solar panels. There's probably more, badass solar panels that generate more power, or bigger ones or whatever. But it works if you're in the sun. But I did run out of power because I parked in the shade for almost 2 days, and I left my refrigerator running day and night every single day. I thought the fridge has to stay on so the food doesn't go bad. I didn't realize that at night when I go to bed, when I'm sleeping, I could turn the fridge off because A, it's dark, so there's no solar being generated. So I'm losing power but not gaining any at night. And two, my Dometic super badass insulated fridge that is super energy efficient isn't going to just lose all of that cold air like that just because you turn it off. It's not going to just like creep up to like 85 degrees inside of the cooler or the fridge the minute you turn it off. It's going to stay cold for several hours and slowly warm up. So by the morning when you wake up and the sun has come back out, you can turn it back on and it'll quickly get back to temperature. Didn't even think about that one. So I just ran the fridge day and night, 24/7, and I ran out of power twice. Now, there's an adapter that it's called shore power. Those of you who have RVs already know what this means, but for those of you who don't, shore power means on the grid. So the van is off grid because it's solar. And my battery is not connected to my engine because the guy who built the van, didn't want to mess with that. He wanted to keep it separate. And I've met other van builders who said the same thing. They were like, I'm not an engineer. I don't know how to do that properly. And I would hate to be parked at a campsite doing my thing, cooking food, refrigerating my stuff, running the sink, running the fan, plugging in my phone, and next thing you know, my battery's dead and I can't start the van. And I agree, that's no bueno. So how do you make sure that the battery doesn't draw off of the engine when it's shut off? You have to make sure that it only draws when the engine is running. So perhaps that's something that I can modify in the future and have a mechanic install something that either has a toggle switch or that automatically charges the battery only when the engine is running. And that would be fucking brilliant because I'm going to drive at nighttime. I like driving after the sun goes down. I'm a night owl. I can totally get in 4 or 5 hours easy after 6 o'clock. So it's dark and I'm driving. Therefore, I could be generating power from my engine while it's dark outside and not wasting the solar. And here's the other thing. Part 3 of this point is shore power. Shore power is where you just plug an extension cord into the wall in the garage or in the house and you run the extension cord out to the van and plug it into the battery. Well, in order to transfer the power from the wall outlet into the battery, that you need an adapter because you need a boy and a boy plug and somewhere there needs to be a girl plug. Do you understand? So you need an adapter, and the adapter is just some cords, and of course I have them, but when I was loading up the van and getting it ready, I was like, what are this bag of cords? This is just a bunch of instruction manuals and extra supplies that I'm not going to need, so I'm just going to leave those at home to save space. Big mistake. Had I had the adapter, then when I was parked under the tree, or we were working on the van at my dad's house, or I was hanging out at my Uncle Larry's and Aunt Linda's place all night, I could have had the van plugged into shore power and got that battery charge right back up to 100%. So I learned some tips and tricks though about how to save battery so that I can run my fan all night, maybe don't run the fridge, that kind of thing. But 2 nights in a row, I'm on the side of the road, parked somewhere, sleeping, trying to fall asleep. The nerve pain did not help with the sleeping. And I'm listening to the fan and I'm trying to stay cool and I'm hot. And then power goes out. Silence. So not only did the power go out, meaning I can't wash my hands or run water, I can't run the fan. I don't have any electricity to charge my phone or any other devices. And my fridge was shut off. So that first night that the fridge got shut down, it got shut down by about 2 a.m. or something like that. So it didn't start getting charged again until about 9 a.m. the next day when the solar started to hit the panels. So I was like, oh shit. But once I opened the fridge, even though I'd been without power for like 6 or 7 hours, it was still cold. And the second that the battery got enough juice, the fridge immediately kicked back on. And the fridge went from like 50 degrees to 40 degrees in like 5 minutes. So I was like, I see. It's not going to just get hot in the fridge real quick as long as I don't open it up. You know what I mean? So now I know I could have shut the refrigerator off at night just to save power. But I also could have had I thought I saw like a coyote or something. I also could have had the adapter and charged the battery up. This one's hilarious. I forgot to take a picture. I got this new phone. I jumped up by 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6 generations of iPhone. I was going to jump up 4 generations and go to an iPhone 11. But they didn't have the phone I wanted at the store. They thought they did, but they didn't. Or whatever, and whatever phone they did have only had like 16 gigs or something of storage, and even though the phone I had was an iPhone 7 and was 6 years old, 6 generations old, it had 160 something gigs of storage on it or whatever. And the guy at the store was like, hey, this phone isn't even gonna fit all of your apps and photographs and stuff. And I was like, so I could get good photographs. And I end up getting this crazy badass new phone, and I end up jumping 6 generations of phone. And the camera is amazing, and I had some fun on the journey with portrait mode, and I got some great pictures with my family. Go check out my Instagram if you want to see the photos I got with my family. Wait, did I put them on Instagram? I will put them on Instagram. I have 2 Instagrams. I have Becca de Moulin, at Becca de Moulin, just my name. That's my personal. And then I have at Get Life Energy, and that's my business. So the posts on the Get Life Energy page are more business focused, and less family pictures and cute stuff and, personal. But again, follow both if you like. But yeah, I got a bunch of great photos. So I was stoked that I had the new phone. It was awesome. It was really helpful. But I did not remember to stop and take a photo op of the fucking van. Like, I could have just pulled over on any random highway in the Redwood Forest and been like, look at my van in the forest. But I forgot. I fucking forgot. Just forgot. Once I was finally in the Redwood Forest, I was like, ooh, I'm in the Redwood Forest. Look how beautiful this is. And I was on a mission to get to Eugene as quickly as possible and then get the rest of the way to Portland as quickly as possible. And I did not get to Portland until like 12:30 a.m. So I needed to get up there. But yeah, so it's all good. I mean, I did go for a hike in the Redwoods. I just didn't happen to have a van sitting next to me to get a nice photograph of it. But I got a couple pictures with the van, so you got to do what you got to do. And the van, you know what? I got a professional photo shoot done like a week before I left town. So I have professional photos of the van that are going to be way better than just a candid shot on the side of the road anyway. So it's all good. And this van is going to go on many, many, many adventures, potentially with you. So if you want to rent my van, hit me up, shoot me an email, or if you have my number, call me, text me, whatever. And I will hook you up with the Outdoorsy website link to check out my van rental listing. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the van is going to get rented out and going to go to lots of cool places. So as that happens, the people who rent it are going to get pictures of the van in fun and interesting locations. So it's all good. But holy crap, did I learn a lot, right? I mean, I had a lot of positives, a lot of negatives, and I learned a lot about the van. So I definitely gained some insights from this experience. So, it's not failure if you learn. I just wish I had been more conscientious of the fact that all that driving takes its physical toll, and prepared for that in the sense of giving myself more time for self-care and booking a massage in advance and having that already on my calendar. And the last thing that I wrote down here on my notes that I will share with you guys is that the older I get, the more I realize that I'm definitely like an empath or a highly sensitive person or whatever. There's a lot of different little things that apply to me that are highly sensitive person related that don't apply to people that aren't this way. So I gotta face the music and know that this is a thing for me. And when I do a massage on someone, for example, I do a little like moment where I kind of go, okay, let me not hurt myself, let me not hurt them, do harm to none, do as ye will. It's like a little blessing or a prayer or an intention setting, whatever you want to call it. But I do some aromatherapy. I let the person smell it, and then I go, okay, let's just like not cause any harm. And I just do this really quick little energetic blessing thing, because if you don't do something like that, sometimes you can absorb people's pain right out of their neck, right into yours. It's happened to me before. And so I've learned my lesson the hard way. So anyway, I, again, had a lot going on. So I wasn't thinking about, hey, I'm a sensitive person. Hey, I'm going to be intoxicated most likely, and therefore my psychic shields and my guard is going to be down. I'm going to have been driving for 2 days. I might be physically tired from that, or physically sore, or, you know, tight or whatever. And I just didn't premeditate the fact that when I was exposed to a lot of intense energy and a lot of negative energy and a lot of grief energy and sadness and anger, and, you know, my mom was having a meltdown. And if you watch this, I'm sorry, baby. That was hard for me to see you so upset. And I know that I'm someone who, like, when I'm near someone who is freaking out or angry or sad or whatever, I will feel what they are feeling. I will literally start to tear up and cry because someone else is having an emotional experience and I'm like feeling it with them. It doesn't always happen. So sometimes I'm like super strong and grounded in my energy, and someone could be bawling and I could be like strong for them and be like, it's okay, you know? But certain things, like when someone has lost a pet, when I know someone really well and therefore know their personal experience, and when my guard is down, I don't know. There are times when I literally feel everything that they're feeling, and their energy gets on me, okay? And I know that this is a thing too, where this is why people like me and I attract all these like energy vampires and narcissistic fuckers, because, and healthy people too, but there's a lot of people who are like, she's got such great energy, I love her. Some people are like, she's got way too much energy, she's too much for me. But it's more the former than the latter, and it's okay if it's too much for you, you know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody needs to like everybody else. But more often than not, I'm the one who's got all the energy, all the positive juju, all the good stuff. So I come into a space like, hey, I'm full of positive energy. And then people are like, ooh, and they like it because they are able to take mine, you know, like they're able to get fired up because of my presence. I energize them. I lighten their mood. I bring good energy. And because I'm so open, it's like I'm able to transfer it into people. And I've got a lot of energy, so I have enough to spare sometimes. But I forget that when I'm open energetically and I'm just like open fucking book and not having any intention setting to protect myself or intention setting to do no harm to others, I'm so open and vulnerable that I can absorb the bad stuff too, right? So anyway, this spasm went like right after experiencing something that was really stressful, and I'm sure that, you know, being tight from driving and all that played a role, but like, and maybe that, you know, rotator cuff thing definitely played a role, but like the stress and the energy from the drama with the family, I'm just saying family drama because I mean stress and drama that's going on within my family. I don't mean like my family is drama, but you know what I'm saying. People have drama. By drama, I mean like someone's upset, there's anger, there's sadness, someone's crying, someone's processing their emotions. And maybe that's the thing. When someone is processing their emotions and communicating and venting and they're actually processing it, as in they're releasing it, they're getting it out, they're sharing, they're crying, they're feeling their feelings, and they're processing through their emotions. I can totally hold space for that. I can totally witness that. I can totally be there for that person and help support them as they process their emotions. But this was not the case. What was happening was there was repressed emotions, creating anger, creating hysteria. Squirrely squirrel. And the repressed emotions are a very different energy because they're not being processed. They're just, it's almost like the energy is, it's almost like when you're processing energy, it's not a negative thing, it's a positive thing. But when the energy feels negative, maybe it's because it's just, it's not moving. Like it's stagnant. So it's like there, and there's this negative energy, and it's like, but it's not moving or flowing or being changed. So, anyhow, perhaps had I said a little prayer and intention to have a psychic shield up and not absorb anyone else's energy, that might have helped me out that day. But I did not do that, and I started off with a knot, and by the end of the day it was like wah 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 wah, and my muscle was going like imagine you're like looking at your muscle and it's going like the muscles were literally doing this pitter patter, which means that my nerve was going zzz, and that was creating all these like muscles to contract and like flex and like flex. It's, if you've ever had a muscle spasm, I'll do a whole separate video on that. But holy shit balls, that electric shock going on in my arm for 2 days totally caused a bunch of other muscles to get really tight because those muscles were like doing this, like so it's like no wonder they got tight. Oh my goodness. So I did not protect my energy, and it manifested into something extremely painful because, I mean, again, that's the woo-woo take on things, but with everything I've learned about woo-woo stuff, like being an empath, highly sensitive person, absorbing energy, energetic boundaries, psychic shields, the role that intoxicating substances plays, like alcohol or other drugs, that dull down your, or diminish your auric field, or that diminish your cognition, or that, basically like sedating things, like downers lower your energetic awareness. And I'm probably sure that's a scientific thing that can be proven. So that being said, when you have that combination of situations, you're very vulnerable as an empathic, sensitive person who isn't super rigid with a bunch of crazy guarded boundaries. You're someone who's like an open fucking energy ball. It's a danger zone, and this is the thing where I learned my lesson now, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna protect myself, because all that it is a little moment where you just think about something for a moment. That's all that it is. It doesn't take much time, but you have to consciously choose and energetically, consciously, have the awareness to, think that thought on purpose before you engage in this environment that can be triggering, that can be stressful, that can be negative, that can be dramatic, etc. Does that make sense? All right, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you got anything out of this, share it with your friends. Give me a comment what you like the best. If you're like, yeah, and never thought about that. If you want more van life videos, definitely let me know in the comments, because this channel is not about van life. This channel is about holistic hacks and getting more energy for your life, and anything that can increase your vitality, and anything that hacks, self-care, body work, holistic medicine, things that can support you in having a better life and having more energy and less pain and less drama and less negativity, more positivity. So I guess it all applies, right? I guess it's all connected. But if you like the van life stuff, let me know, because then when I go on more journeys, I will continue to share on this channel. But yeah, give me a thumbs up, and bring your adapter to charge your battery on your road trip, and have a great time. Oh yeah, and if you're having nerve pain, if you're feeling electric shocks, if you got a pinched nerve, if you've got fucking pain in your body that's like getting worse, or a big ass knot in your shoulder, this is your message right now to quit denying what your body is saying to you. Quit ignoring that thing and listen to that voice that says, I should probably get a massage. I think I need to go to the chiropractor. Maybe I should look into that. I should probably start stretching again. This is your reminder that that voice knows what it's talking about. Okay? So do it, because you don't want to wait until it's the last minute and then you're like, I'm in so much pain. I need a massage right now. Because I strongly dislike people who do that to me, because I always want to help everyone, and I feel really bad when I have to say, sorry, dude, I'm booked until next week. What are you doing? Hit me up on a Saturday thinking I'm available. Come on now. Like, you think a therapist that's got 15 years of experience and 35-star reviews is available at the last minute on a Saturday? Come on. We get booked because we're good. So book that shit in advance. If you know you have a competition tomorrow and you're going to want a massage, book that massage a week in advance to make sure it happens. Becca, lesson learned. I'm listening to my own advice, guys. I'm not above fucking this up either, but I'm here to remind you to do a better job at prioritizing that self-care. Plan for it in advance. Because when I got back, I was like, can I get a massage? 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 And I hit up several people, and I booked 2 massages right away. And I'm going to book a whole bunch more of them for like every single week until I'm 100% again. And the thing is, 2 of these sessions I've paid out of pocket for, because it's totally worth it. And 3 chiropractor visits. Okay. So it's like, I became that person who was like, I'm back in town. As of today, I need a massage immediately, but I'm working the next 2 days straight. And when are you available? Because I need a massage immediately. And my friend was like, I can't get you until next week, because she's good. But here's a number for somebody else that might be able to get you in early. So thank goodness that other person was able to get me in within a couple of days. But still, just waiting a couple of days is brutal when you're in constant pain. So do road trips better. Give yourself lots of time so that you can be leisurely about it, and you will save yourself a whole bunch of pain, physical, mental, and otherwise. And once again, thanks for coming by, and look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Ciao.